Hello everyone, how are you all? I hope you are doing well. So I welcome you again to your psychology class, and today we'll continue with chapter number 2, that is methods of inquiry in psychology. And we have already done goals of psychological inquiry, and if you have not seen that video you can check the link in the description box. And today we'll discuss about the steps in conducting scientific research. So, any scientific method or any scientific research basically tries to understand a particular phenomena or an event in an objective and systematic manner. Now, what is objectivity? Objectivity basically means unbiased results, conclusions, or interpretations. For example, if two or more people they are studying the same event or phenomena using the same method, chances will be that they will arrive at the same conclusion. For example, you and your friend both are measuring the length of the table using a scale, so chances will be that you will arrive at the same conclusion. All right, so this is called objectivity. So, the second main characteristic of any scientific research is that it follows a systematic procedure. It means that any scientific research or any scientific investigation basically follows certain steps, all right, and that steps are in a systematic manner. Okay, so this is the second main characteristic of scientific research. So these four steps are basically conceptualizing a problem, collecting data, drawing conclusions, and revising research conclusions. So we'll discuss them one by one. So let's start with conceptualizing a problem. So, conceptualizing a problem basically means selecting a particular theme or topic for your study or for your research, means on what topic you want to do research. Okay, that is conceptualizing a problem. So now you conceptualize a particular problem or you select a particular topic for your study or research on the basis of review of past research, observations, and personal experiences. Now, review of past research means basically you look out for the previous researches on the same topic. For example, you want to study the level of social maturity among adolescents or boys and girls. So you will look out for the number of researches done in this on this topic. All right, you will look out for the methods which are used by the researchers. You will look out for the kind of tools used for the research. All right, so this will help you framing your topic in a right way. All right, so this is the review of past literature or review of past research. And basically you select your topic on the basis of your observations also, like you are working in a school where you feel that teachers are under stress all the time, so you want to study the reason of stress among teachers or the reasons of stress among students or adolescents. Okay, so basically here your selection of topic is based on your observations in your surroundings, in your environment. All right. And we also select a particular theme or topic for our research on the basis of our personal experiences. Okay. For example, you are working in a school and you're a mathematics teacher and you feel that most of the students they fail in maths. And moreover, it's your personal experience, because being a math teacher, you have not only observed it, you have your own experience of it. Okay. So you want to study, you want to research on this topic, that what are the reasons behind that, what steps can be taken to improve the result of the students. So obviously you will go for that topic because that is your own personal experience and you want to improve that situation, you want to improve the result of the student, so you will do the research on that topic. All right. And basically, in psychology, we study a different range of problems related to behavior and experiences. And these problems may be related to understanding our own behavior. For example, why I always become so aggressive whenever somebody talks about my personal life. All right, so it can be based on your own personal behavior. All right, so you can do research on that, and it can be based on understanding other individuals' behavior. For example, why your friend always become aggressive whenever somebody talks about his personal life. What are the reasons behind it? You want to do research on that topic. All right. Or the problem may be related to group influences on individual behavior. Group influences means the effect of groups on the behavior of an individual. For example, the effect of peer group on the behavior of an individual. It is always said that if you are into the bad company, then chances are that you will follow that bad company. Okay, so that is group influence, group effect on the behavior of an adolescent or an individual. Okay. So it can also be one of the topic for research, means you can study the group influence on the behavior of an individual, the effect of peers on the performance of adolescents. Okay. Or problem may also be related to group behavior, means how you behave in groups, whether you feel comfortable with other people in groups or whether you don't feel comfortable. What are the reasons behind it? Why some people they perform better in groups and vice versa. Okay. And the problem may also be related to organizations, means why some organizations they perform better, what are the reasons, what resources they use, what are the different techniques used by them. You can also select that topic, you can also research on that topic. Okay. So basically the list is endless. There are number of topics on which you can do research. It all depends upon your own experiences, own personal interest or your observations. All right. So now after selecting a particular topic for your research, the next step is to select the hypothesis. Now what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is basically a tentative answer to the solution, tentative answer to the problem. Okay. For example, you want to study the social maturity among boys and girls. You have selected this theme or topic for your research. Now, you will finalize one hypothesis for your study. Hypothesis means you will generate your own answer to your problem. So here you can give the hypothesis that girls are more socially mature than boys. It's your own personal experience. That's why you have generated this hypothesis that girls are more socially mature than boys or vice versa. Okay, this is called hypothesis. For example, like here it is given in your book, like the theme or the topic for your research is you want to study the effect of television on children. And your hypothesis can be like greater is the amount of time spent by children in viewing violence on television, higher is the degree of aggression displayed by them. This you feel. This is your answer to your problem. Okay. And now your main motive is to prove your hypothesis true. For example, if you feel that girls are more socially mature than boys, so you want to prove it through your research. Okay. So after conceptualizing a problem and generating a hypothesis for your study, the next step is collecting data for your research. Now, data collection involves 4 aspects: selecting participants in the study, methods of data collection, tools to be used in research, and procedure for data collection. All right. Like the first aspect is selecting the participants in the study. Now, who are participants? Participants are on whom you want to do the research. Okay. And participants could be children, adolescents, boys, girls, housewives, old people, young people. So these are the participants of study. Like you want to study the social maturity. So you want to study the social maturity of boys only or girls only, or you want to study the social maturity of boys and girls or children or housewives. It all depends upon yourself, whom you want to select as the participants of your study. So after this, the next step or aspect is selecting a method for your data collection. There are a number of methods like observational method, correlational method, case study, etc. So this you will study later in your chapter. So this is the second aspect, that which method you will use in your study. And it is not always necessary that you only use one method. Number of methods can be used in a single research. It all depends upon your own requirement. Okay. So after selecting a method for your data collection, you select a particular tool for your research. Now tool means, for example, you have selected an interview method for your research. Now how you will take the interview, how you will conduct an interview, whether it will be a face-to-face interview, whether it will be a telephonic interview. All right, so these are the tools. For example, you want to, you have selected an observation method for your study. So what tools will you use for observation. For example, whether you will use participant observation or non-participant observation, that you will study later in this chapter. Okay. And the last aspect is basically selecting the procedure for data collection, means whether you want to collect data in group or individually, whether you want to, for example, you have selected a method of interview for your research. So whether you want to take interview in a group or individually. All right, so that is the procedure of data collection. So after collecting data, the next step is drawing conclusions. Now you have collected data by different methods, tools, and procedures. Now you will draw conclusions by using different statistical methods and graphical representations. Okay. Now, graphical representation means you will represent your data through pie charts, through bar diagrams, cumulative frequencies, etc. And statistical methods are, there are basically number of statistical methods like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, correlational method. So which statistical method you will use to represent your data, okay? So after drawing conclusions, the last step is revising research conclusions. Now it means you will see whether your hypothesis is accepted or rejected, whether your research conclusions are supporting your hypothesis or not. If they are supporting, then it means your hypothesis is accepted and your research is successful. But if it is not accepted, then obviously you will conduct the research again to prove it right, to prove your hypothesis to be true. So research is basically an unending process. Okay. Means even if you don't want to conduct your research again, some other person will come and do the research on the same topic to prove your hypothesis to be true. For example, there's your friend who also feel that boys are more socially mature than girls, and your research conclusions do not support your hypothesis. So your friend can do the research on the same topic to prove your hypothesis to be true because he also feel the same. Okay, so it is basically an endless process. So these were the 4 steps in conducting a scientific research, and I hope it is clear to all of you. And if you have any doubt or any query, do let me know through the comment section. Okay, so this is all for today, and we'll meet once again in a new video with a new topic. Till then, take care, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.